All right, so the next thing we need to do is updates. We did create and read, CRUD, CRUD functions, create, read, update, delete. So now we need to do the update part, which is pretty simple, though it's a little more complicated, but not really by much. All right, so if you haven't guessed by now, we're going to start with app dot. Now, you have to think of which HTTP verb is going to be for the update. All right, we went over them before. Remember, there is get, post, put, patch, delete. There's a bunch of other ones. We're going to use put for the update. All right, cool. So we're going to put, and then we're going to do slash items because it has to do with items. And then we'd like to update a specific item. All right, so we're not like updating all the items. Like I would like to take milk and update its quantity to 5,000 or whatever. Right, so remember, if we look back at our item repo when we did the update, we wanted to update a specific item, and then we were only allowing the user to update the quantity. We're not allowing them to update the cost. Okay, that was just a design decision that we made. All right, so since I want to pass in the ID specifically, I'm going to do colon ID here. Okay, just like we did with get all by like get item by ID up here, the same idea. All right, and then again, we're going to do the same boilerplate. Request, response, promise of a response, and then arrow. All right, now we need to do this item repo to update. So we're going to have to get the ID, okay, from the URL, but we also are going to need some information. So that quantity is got to be passed in somehow. So there's a couple ways to do this, but we're going to have the user says the quantity inside the body of the request. So that means we're going to have to get the parameter for the ID, and we also have to use the bodies. That's why I want to kind of show you can use both. So let's do item repo dot update item quantity. All right, so we need to put the ID here first. So if you remember, we do to get the ID, we're still using this request object. So request dot params dot ID. That's the first one. And I'm just gonna make sure it gets cast as a number, just to be paranoid. All right, and then the second part is the quantity, which is going to come from the body. So we're going to do request dot body dot ID. Okay, again, you don't have to do it this way. I'm just doing it because I want to use both the parameters and the body. All right, so we're going to get the ID. The ID is passed to the URL will be used here. And then the, quantity. Okay, the quantity will be passed in the body. After we're all, everything's done, we're going to give them a response, return response status of 200, meaning everything went well. Okay, and we're just going to tell them updated. And keeping things nice and simple. All right, I'll keep this up for a little bit. Remember, we're going to have the ID in the URL, but they're going to send us the quantity in the body of the request. So we're going to get information from two different places, okay, and combine them to run our function update item quantity. Okay, cool. So if we go back, for example, bread is 5. Just remember this. Bread was 5. Let's go over to Postman. Okay, so we're going to Postman. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this to put. Because now we're using the put verb. It's still localhost items, but I would like to update item number 3. 3 was bread. All right, I'm going to make its quantity, I don't know. It was 5, and let's make it 50. We got a bunch of bread coming in. So bread's ID is 3, the quantity is 50. See, I have body selected, I have JSON, I use my squiggly brackets, the property is quantity, the number is 50. So we hit send. Okay, cool, updated status 200. Let's test to see if it worked. We go over to get rid of this 3. Okay, we're just gonna do items. Okay, or we could do 3 actually, we probably want the actual thing, so that makes sense. So bread, quantity, 50. Okay, so it used to be 5, but now it's 50. That's what update means. Update means I still have a thing with ID 3, right? But I changed some of its information. So in our app, we can update the quantity. So let's say we had even more bread. So we have 5,000 loaves of bread. I don't know. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and update item number 3 with quantity 5,000. Okay, so it's updated. I'm going to switch to get. Okay, and its quantity is 5,000. Okay, that's what an update is. All right. These HTTP verbs are very, very handy, right? So they tell you what you're doing. Okay, am I getting information? Am I updating information? Am I sending information? These verbs, you know, the URL stayed the same between get and put, right? So this put, the URL was the same as this get, but they did different things. Okay, play around for this for a little while and try to get a feel for it. Okay, but this is the way in which we can do update. The last one we're going to do is delete, and then we will have the full CRUD functionality.